Russian forces have now captured another Ukrainian city after weeks of constantly attacking it. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations says more than 40 hospitals have been attacked since the start of this war. And the U.S. Secretary of State Blinken, he says he believes Russia is committing war crimes and is concerned that China might supply military equipment to Russia.
Tonight, we'd like to introduce our First Coast News national security expert, Vice Admiral Rick Snyder, retired. He has a long history of service at Mayport and at high levels at the Pentagon. Helicopter pilot, navigator for the USS Carl Vinson, commanding officer for the warship USS Baton, and an expert on strategic planning to defend North America at the Pentagon and at NORAD. So we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. You and I have been talking about the fact that Putin is a wild card. And let's say he gets desperate. If he attacks, say, a NATO country and things escalate, you believe that this is where a maritime conflict could break out. The area of the Baltic Sea, in yellow, the Baltic countries of Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and then for perspective for everyone, Russia in red, and Ukraine in purple. So why here, and how could this possibly involve Mayport ships if things escalate?
I think it would be two steps to involve more of our Mayport forces. First would be, as you talked about, an incursion into NATO by Putin, but limited to the area right around the Ukraine. That would probably put some more of our forces on alert, maybe some deployments. But if this evolved into a broader NATO-Russian conflict, I think the likelihood of encounters at sea, whether it's in the Baltic Sea, as you alluded to, with our Baltic states, or frankly, protecting our own country. Russia has reach, and so our Navy would play a huge role in trying to respond to a broader aggression. Our ships have fantastic anti-submarine, surface, and aircraft capabilities. And our submarines are great at protecting our coast.
Well, let's talk about deterring World War III, especially a nuclear attack. We all know that Kings Bay is just up the road from Jacksonville in Camden County. Why is that such a very important key in this whole deterrent effort?
Right. Well, so our submarines are silent service. We don't hear much about them, but they're there. And those submarines out of Kings Bay are ballistic missile submarines, and they go on nuclear deterrent patrols, specifically to provide that deterrent capability for nuclear war. They go out to areas, they're not seen, they're not known, but they can provide a nuclear strike at a moment's notice. And Russia knows that, but they don't know where they are.
Now, we have subs, say, at Norfolk, but these at Kings Bay are different. How's that?
Right, these are our ballistic missile submarines for that nuclear deterrent. The subs up in Norfolk are our attack submarines, and they would be the ones, were this to escalate and our eastern coast came at risk from Russian submarines, they're the ones that would go out and go after those Russian submarines before they can get us.
So no doubt a very high interest from our First Coast on what's going on with Ukraine. Admiral Snyder, our First Coast News national security expert, we appreciate his expertise and we'll be talking with him often as we go through this issue. We appreciate his being here today.